Bitcoin up around 40% since June. This is the weekly chart. It's looking nice. I mean, you got that weekly candle above the 20-week moving average. That's a very big deal. We're going to get to that in a few minutes, but I'm not even sure it's the biggest deal. The biggest news right now, we go over here on the daily Bitcoin chart. We have this rising channel that we've been tracking, higher highs, higher lows. We've discussed how the July 13th CPI data, Bitcoin and crypto markets just bounced off of that news, right? And it bounced to this upward trend line. And this happened yesterday. We talked about potential consolidation for Bitcoin going into the news, and boom, we've gotten that bounce so far towards the upper trend line. What's notable here is the last time when this news came out, Bitcoin was below the 20-day and it was below the 50-day. This time around, everybody, the 20-day has crossed above the 50-day and Bitcoin trades above both of these moving averages. Now, let's take that a step further. We're also in an environment where Bitcoin is kind of gotten some separation above the 200-week moving average, but we also have this, the MACD crossing the signal line with this green line finally above zero on the histogram. So there's this more bullish indicator momentum shift happening across the weekly and daily charts for Bitcoin. And if we're looking at this chart from strictly technical analysis perspective, we have a breakout target to around $30,000 to the upside. Now, there's actually a shorter term pattern that we're going to look at in a second. But before we do, I have to put that asterisk, the be careful type of warning, because it all comes from what's going on in the world, in traditional markets, and we take a glance at the stock market, for instance. We've been discussing this a lot, which is the 2008, 2009 stock market crash, right? And the charts are looking very similar. Obviously, different things going on, but it's just, this is what we want to watch. We want to take the comparison of the charts back then, and we really want to apply it to crypto because crypto is following stock market. So back here, 2007 into 2008, this is the S&P 500. It consolidated to this 200-week moving average, and then we got this rally through the 20-week up to the 50-week moving average. And then boom, followed by the huge crash. I'm bringing that up because the chart's right now looking very similar, right down to the 20-week moving average, crossing below the 50-week. Now, it didn't quite reach the 200-week moving average, but we got that swing low bounce above the 20-week moving average, and we're getting very close to the 50-week moving average. We have to track this. This is going to be an area that we watch for. What kind of weekly close, if it gets there, when it gets there, do we see on this chart? Above, below that 50-week moving average. This is what we saw in 2008 of May. We're going to watch this closely because it has a lot to do, and it means a lot. If you're a crypto holder, this means pretty much everything in terms of what Bitcoin charts are going to do. But here we are on the Bitcoin charts, nonetheless, looking good, at least for the short term. Bitcoin is up, right? We haven't gotten that breakout above this trend line yet. To give you some perspective, we are looking at a price range, still a move of around, a 3 to 4% move before Bitcoin is doing that. Now, the notable thing on the weekly that I have to bring up is this. Bitcoin has exited this range between the 200-week moving average and this yellow line down here. That is a key macro 786 line that is the last bear market low to bull market high down to the key Fibonacci 786 line. That's what that is. If you want me to chart it, this is what it looks like. So that green channel is a consolidation line, and that 786 line is an incredibly important line for macro cycles on Bitcoin that I've personally been tracking. That 786 line all the way back here in the bear market low is an area where Bitcoin consolidated between that line right there and the 200-week moving average. And even in the previous cycle, same thing. So Bitcoin consolidating between these two lines again, but right now exiting that consolidation. And that is extremely important on these charts. So I want to continue to monitor the current weekly to see if that separation from the 200-week moving average continues. That's going to be a big deal. And then going back here to the daily chart, this is what we're watching. This breakout to the upside, it's a $30,000 target to the upside. Still a little bit of a ways to go. What's interesting though, I was kind of digging into, well, what kind of consolidation or structure is forming just all up in here as Bitcoin's getting the support above the 20-day moving average, shortly after the 20-day moving average crossing above the 50. What's going on in the shorter term? Any structure to track? And we do, with a similar target around $30,000. It's just this rising wedge. It's this rising triangle. And with Bitcoin, and I don't know how long you've been here watching these charts, but with Bitcoin, we see these a lot. We really do, especially in bullish environments. It's just this series of higher highs and higher lows leading to a breakout. Now, I think a lot of people see these charts or see this setup and automatically think, boom, coming down, right? A quick shot of consolidation. And it very much can be true, but it's just for me, when I look at these patterns on Bitcoin, these often are the lead to the breakout. These patterns, these setup patterns, especially in bull markets. So, and this is a daily chart. I'm sorry. I said this is a 6-hour chart. This is a daily chart, but it's a more zoomed in, shorter term daily chart than the other pattern that we're tracking. But if we zoomed out on this daily chart, check this out. This is what it looks like. And this is what I mean though. If we go into a bullish environment, right, and I'm scrolling all the way back here, as Bitcoin's kind of entering the bull market or in the bull market, you just see this. You see these rising patterns. Look at this right there. Bitcoin just squeezed into this rising pattern, not falling to the downside, getting a breakout to the upside. And you see this often with Bitcoin. So that's why when I watch this chart and I see what's happening, this upward momentum of pressure, and I see the 20-day moving average crossing above the 50-day, it's like, all right, let's track this closely. Now, I digress from that. We are at the upper trend line now. So to the downside, once again, the 20-day moving average, right around $23,000, is an area of support confluent with that lower trend line. We want to track for Bitcoin if there's resistance in the immediate short-term future. So that is basically the target that we'd be watching for, right around $23,000 from where we are right now. That could be a fall of around 5 to 6% for Bitcoin. And then we track, well, what happens at the lower trend line if Bitcoin makes a move down to that area. It's a big support area. It continues to be the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average for Bitcoin. Huge areas of support. So let's see what Bitcoin does on the very short term. Let's see what the traditional markets do. Let's see what kind of rally we can get out of this. But all of the indicators, the bullish indicators at the very least, all coming together to form kind of a bullish environment. But we still need those technical breakouts on these charts, and that's what I'll be tracking. And nonetheless, we will absolutely be tracking this chart. This is the S&P 500 and what happens here on the 50-week moving average. And just to give you an idea, because I'm kind of curious myself, from that 50-week moving average, 2% move away. So if this rally continues for the stock market, we could find out soon what is in store for all markets, and that includes Bitcoin and what is happening here. So be very careful out there, everybody. Let's track. Let's see what happens. I appreciate all of you cruising by. Please hit the subscribe, hit that like button. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.